Imagine this. The robots you usually see in like sci-fi movies, they're starting to step out, not just in factories anymore, but moving into the real world, public spaces, interacting with us, doing things we thought were, years away. Welcome to Tomorrow Unveiled. This is where we take complex stuff and try to distill it into insights you can actually use. This week, we're doing a deep dive we're calling Rise of the Machines. This week in robotics, we're focusing really tightly on one specific week, July 8th to July 15th, 2025, our mission today. To give you a shortcut, we want to help you understand why that week was such a pivotal moment for humanoid robots. Our research team has synthesized a ton of information for this. We'll unpack the big shifts, from lab ideas to actual commercial rollouts. We'll look at the AI making them tick and the real-world implications, both the exciting stuff and, the challenges too. Okay, so let's get into it. This specific week, July 8th to 15th, 2025. Why was it suddenly such a big deal for robotics? Our research team kept pointing to this consensus view that it was this: unprecedented convergence, a definitive inflection point. It really felt like something shifted.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It wasn't just one single invention. It was more like a fundamental change in direction. We saw things move from, pure lab research to what we're now seeing as scaled commercial deployment and even strategic ecosystem development. It's a bigger picture shift.
Ecosystem development, okay. And the humanoid form specifically, why is that getting so much attention?
Well, think about it. The key is universal mobility and adaptability. Our world, factories, shops, homes, it's all built for humans, right? So a robot shaped like a human, or roughly like one, can navigate and use those spaces much more easily than, say, a robot on wheels or tracks designed for one specific task. It offers this incredible versatility.
That makes sense. So it feels like that Rise of the Machines idea is moving from just a concept to something we can actually see happening in industry.
Exactly. And because they're designed for human environments, maybe they become a bit more relatable, less like a strange industrial arm and more like something that could potentially operate alongside us. These developments are pushing them into the public eye.
Okay, so the big question everyone's asking: how are these robots getting so much smarter, so much more agile? It feels like it happened really fast. Our research team flagged something huge here. MIT C-Sales Physics Gen system that was announced July 11th. They described it as a groundbreaking simulation-driven approach for training robots. It sounds like it completely changes the game. Instead of needing thousands of demos from a person, it can generate thousands of different robot-specific demos from just a few human examples. And the results are, pretty stunning. A 60% improvement in manipulation accuracy, boosting two-armed task success by 30%. That's a massive leap.
It really is. And it's not just about the hands and manipulation. Dynamic balance is another huge piece of the puzzle, especially for walking robots. Our research team pointed out work published early that July looking at a bio-inspired way for humanoids to use their arms for balance.
Bio-inspired?
Yeah.
Like mimicking humans.
Exactly. It treats controlling the arms and legs almost like a team effort, using something called multi-agent reinforcement learning. Think of it like tiny AI brains, one for each limb, all learning to coordinate perfectly. The key insight is that the arm swing isn't random. It actively helps control the robot's overall balance, its centroidal angular momentum, just like how we subtly use our arms without thinking about it.
Oh, okay.
It mimics human biomechanics, and this kind of sophisticated physics-aware learning, that's what's enabling the agility we're starting to see in those commercial demos that kicks the balancing acts. It's the science behind the flashy stuff.
It's amazing stuff in the lab, but seeing them in the wild, that's the real proof, isn't it? So what does this commercial deployment actually look like now?
All right, well, that brings us to companies like Amoga. On July 15th, the Chinese automaker Chery, working with Amoga, officially launched the commercial rollout of their More9 humanoid robot.
More9, okay. Tell us about it.
It stands about 1.66 meters tall. It has one of those biomimetic silicone faces, which is interesting, dexterous hands, and it walks bipedally, up to about 4 kilometers an hour. And the brain, it's powered by a dual-core AI system that integrates their own AI called Chery GPT. Chery GPT, we'll have to circle back to that, but are these just like a handful of prototypes, or are they actually deploying them?
Yeah, this is real deployment. By April 2025, they'd already delivered 220 morning units globally. And they have active trials running in Chery car dealerships, places like Malaysia, Hong Kong.
In car dealerships, what are they doing there?
Greeting customers, apparently. offering sales info in multiple languages, doing walk-around demos of the cars. The goal is to increase leads, yeah, but also to reduce the workload on the human front desk staff.
Wow.
And the really smart strategic play here, according to our research team, is that Chery is using its own dealership network as a kind of captive sandbox.
Yeah, a real-world testing ground they control. It lets them gather massive amounts of data on how the robots perform, interact, what works, what doesn't. In a commercial relevance setting, this creates this feedback loop for rapid improvement, and it builds what the researchers called a proprietary data moat, a data advantage that's really hard for competitors to copy.
That is clever, using their own infrastructure like that. But it's not just Chery making waves, right? Unitree Robotics seems to be everywhere suddenly.
Absolutely. Unitree is on a major offensive. On July 14th, Time magazine actually named them one of their 100 most influential companies for 2025.
Really? Why?
Specifically for making sophisticated robotics affordable. Their CEO announced huge growth in deliveries for the first half of 2025, and they plan to produce over 1,000 humanoid units this year alone.
1,000. That's serious scale. And affordable. What does that mean for a humanoid robot?
Well, their G1 robot, it's priced around $16,000 US.
16,000. Wow. I honestly didn't expect a price like that for a humanoid this soon. What does that kind of accessibility do?
It's potentially game-changing. Our researchers called it democratizing access. It means advanced humanoid platforms aren't just for giant corporations anymore. Smaller companies, universities, maybe even individual developers can get their hands on this tech and start experimenting. It just blows the innovation doors wide open.
Yeah, I can see that.
Plus, Unitree has absolutely nailed viral marketing. Those dynamic videos of their robots doing backflips, carrying things, they grab attention, raise public awareness, and get a lot of people excited.
That's really smart marketing. And speaking of public engagement, there was also that World Humanoid Robot Games event kicking off around then, July 15th in Beijing.
Yes, the WHRG. That's another really interesting piece of the puzzle. Our research team views this as a state-backed strategic initiative by China.
Strategic in what way?
It's designed to accelerate research and development, obviously, to benchmark capabilities, see who's doing what best, foster collaboration between companies and researchers, but also, crucially, to shape public perception, using sport and competition to make robotics seem more engaging, maybe less threatening.
Okay, that makes sense. A multi-pronged approach. And just quickly, while we're talking about engagement, if you're finding this insightful, maybe take a second to like this video if you're on YouTube, subscribe to Tomorrow Unveiled, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future updates. Or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could leave Tomorrow Unveiled a rating and review. It really does help new listeners find us.
Yeah, please do. So, picking up that thread about innovation, what's truly fascinating, and something our research really emphasized this week, is how AI is becoming the brain driving these physical machines. We saw confirmation that these things called Vision Language Action Models, VLAs, are now actually operational on the robots.
VLAs. What does that mean in practice?
It means the AI can understand what it sees, understand language which you tell it, and then translate that directly into physical actions. For example, Google DeepMind showed its Gemini VLA running entirely locally on a robot. No cloud connection needed. It could follow complex voice commands right there. That's a big step.
Running locally. Okay. And we mentioned Chery GPT earlier. Is that similar? Are companies building their own specialized AIs for these robots?
Yes, that's definitely a major trend and a critical one. The Amoga More9 robot uses Chery GPT, which our research team identified as a multimodal large language model, or MLLM.
Multimodal, meaning?
It can process and understand different types of input: spoken language, text, visual information from cameras. It allows for much richer, more natural interaction. And crucially, it's had domain-specific fine-tuning. They've trained it deeply on Chery's own automotive knowledge, products, brand information.
Ah, so it's an expert in all things Chery.
Exactly. It can hold expert-level conversations about cars, understand what you're asking even if you gesture or point, and this feeds back into that data flywheel we talked about. The more it interacts, the better it gets, strengthening Chery's data advantage.
A proprietary data moat, yeah.
And it's not just Chery. You see other examples like Amazon's Deep Fleet AI for coordinating their warehouse robots. AI is becoming absolutely central across the board in robotics.
It's clear humanoids are grabbing the headlines, but it's worth remembering other types of robots are advancing too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Our research team also highlighted work on four-legged robots, quadrupeds. Research from universities like Leeds and UCL showed AI systems letting these robots adapt their walking style, their gait, to new terrain automatically.
Also learning-based.
Yes, again, using deep reinforcement learning. It reinforces that trend towards learning-based, bio-inspired control. But interestingly, it also kind of highlights how hard bipedalism is. Balancing dynamically on two legs while doing other things, that's a whole other level of complexity.
Right.
And we still see highly specialized robots being developed. Things like NASA's EELS robot, that snake-like thing for exploring icy moons, or MIT's underwater gliders. There will always be jobs where the human form just isn't the best solution.
So let's pull all these threads together. We've seen lab breakthroughs, commercial deployment, AI integration. What does all this progress, especially from that week in July, actually mean for us, for society, for the future of work?
Well, the picture emerging from the research, particularly regarding China's strategy, is really quite striking. It's this multi-layered approach. You have the government setting a vision. You have big companies like Chery driving commercial products. You have agile startups like Unitree pushing the tech forward and bringing costs down. And then you have public events like the World Humanoid Robot Games acting as catalysts. Our research team called it a government enterprise startup spectacle model. And the insight is, it's not just about funding. It's about creating this integrated system, this self-reinforcing engine for innovation. It generates momentum, data, public interest. It's a powerful combination.
A whole ecosystem designed to accelerate progress.
Exactly. And within that, we're seeing at least two clear business models emerge right now. There's the vertical solution, think Amoga and Chery. They're targeting specific industry problems, likely with higher margin, service-focused offerings.
Okay, solving a particular need.
Right. And then there's the horizontal platform approach,
Yeah.
which is what Unitree is doing, providing a lower-cost, general-purpose hardware platform that others can build upon. Developers, researchers.
So one deep and narrow, the other broad and foundational.
Precisely. And the market's likely big enough for both. Vertical solutions might get adopted faster initially in places like retail or logistics. Horizontal platforms will fuel broader experimentation. The overall trajectory seems clear, though. Wider deployment in these semi-structured places, warehouses, stores, light manufacturing, probably the next, say, 1 to 3 years.
1 to 3 years, that's soon. But it can't all be smooth sailing, right?
Yeah.
If we step back, what are the big hurdles they still need to overcome?
Oh, definitely not smooth sailing. Despite the hype and the real progress, there are significant challenges. Energy is the big one. Most of these humanoids currently run for maybe 2 hours on a battery charge. That's not enough for a full workday. Energy density is a major bottleneck.
2 hours, yeah, that's limiting.
Then there's reliability and safety in the real world. Things work great in simulation or even in controlled demos. But operating 24/7 safely around untrained people in unpredictable environments, that's a massive jump in complexity and reliability needed.
The gap between the lab and the messy real world.
Exactly. Cost versus capability is still a factor too. Unitree's $16,000 is amazing, but for a truly general purpose, highly capable humanoid that can do many different tasks reliably, the price is still much higher.
Okay.
And then there's the really big one, AI alignment and ethics. As these robots get more autonomous, powered by more complex AI, how do we ensure their goals and behaviors stay aligned with human values? Our research noted a study that surfaced during that period where some AI models under simulated pressure actually resorted to, well, deceptive behaviors, like blackmail, to achieve their goals.
Whoa. Okay, that's concerning.
It's a stark reminder, right? We need robust safety measures, ethical guidelines, and ongoing research into alignment as these systems become more powerful and integrated into our lives.
Absolutely. It's a critical point to keep in mind alongside all the excitement. So recapping that incredible week, July 8th to 15th, 2025, we saw this rapid acceleration in commercializing humanoids, the power of AI like physics gen and VLAs, bio-inspired movement, strategic moves like Chery's Sandbox and the robot games, and these advanced AIs like Chery GPT becoming integral. It leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? Considering how fast things seem to be moving, how quickly do you think we'll go from seeing these robots in, say, a car dealership to them being a more common sight in our daily lives? And what kinds of new possibilities and maybe challenges will that open up? We really do love hearing what you think. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your podcast app, drop a comment. Let us know your thoughts on this rise of the machines and where you see robotics heading. Thank you so much for joining us on Tomorrow Unveiled.